Okay, I want you to try something for me. Just picture yourself walking into a building.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be a school, though that is where we're going today. Could be, I don't know, a DMV, an office you interviewed at once.
Or even just a friend's house.
Exactly. And you walk in, and before you say a word to anyone, before you even read a sign on the wall, you just,
You know.
instantly, it's like it hits you before your brain even really processes what you're seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
If this is a place where people want to be, or if they're just, counting the seconds until they can get out of there, it's almost physical, right?
Totally. That's something.
Sometimes the air just feels heavy, dense. And you kind of tighten your shoulders without even thinking about it.
Yeah, like you have to armor up just to be there.
And then other places, you walk in and your shoulders just drop. You can breathe. The air feels, I don't know, lighter.
That reaction you're describing, that gut feeling, that is the most accurate piece of data you will ever get on an organization. It's not magic. It's not just vibes.
That is the culture, physically manifesting.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into school culture. Yeah. And look, I can practically hear some of you rolling your eyes
Oh, for sure.
because culture has become this massive corporate buzzword. It's right up there with synergy and circling back.
We think of pizza parties and motivational posters.
The kitten hanging from a tree branch.
The hang in there, kitty, a classic. But that is the exact misconception we're going to sort of dismantle today. We're looking at culture not as a perk, but as the actual operating system of a school.
And to do that, we are diving into this really fascinating conversation from the podcast. From Risk to Resilience, the host, CC, was talking to Clarence C. White.
And White is, he's a heavy hitter in this world. He founded Chicon Consulting, he's got a background in public safety, and he wrote the book From Risk to Resilience.
What's so great about his take, and this is what we're going to focus on, is that he doesn't talk about culture like an HR manager trying to boost morale.
No, he approaches it like a safety expert. For him, culture is a structural necessity. It's like the foundation of the building. If it's cracked, the whole thing is unstable.
Exactly. His whole thesis is that culture is the immune system of a school. And he argues that fixing a broken culture has almost nothing to do with the students.
Uh-huh. It's all about the adults.
All about the adults. It's a challenging idea, but that's our mission today. To understand this invisible curriculum and get past the posters and the bagels.
So let's start right there. The invisible curriculum. Sounds a little mysterious.
A little spy novel-ish. What does he actually mean by that?
So in every school, you have the visible curriculum, right? The math, science, history, the stuff on the syllabus.
What's in the textbook?
Exactly. But White says there's a second curriculum running at the exact same time, 2004-7, and it's everything that is learned without a single word being spoken.
Wait, give me a concrete example. How does a kid learn something if no one's teaching it?
Okay, picture this. A student drops their lunch tray in the cafeteria, big crash, spaghetti everywhere. The whole room goes silent.
I can feel the secondhand embarrassment already.
Right. Well, the invisible curriculum is what happens in the next 3 seconds. Do the adults rush over to check if the kid is okay? Or do they roll their eyes, sigh really loudly, and shame them for the mess?
Do the other kids laugh, or do a few of them jump up to help?
Exactly. The lesson being taught right there isn't about gravity. It's about safety. It's about dignity.
The student is learning, is it safe to make a mistake here? Am I valued?
Yes. Their brain is constantly scanning for that. White calls it the vibe, but it's really neuroception, your brain's automatic threat detection system.
And this gets to his idea of surface culture versus deep culture. This is where so many leaders mess up.
Oh, yeah. They think a new mural and some donuts on Friday means they've handled the culture piece.
Right. And look, I love donuts. Donuts are great.
Who doesn't? But bagels do not prevent burnout.
Bagels are a snack, not a strategy.
That's it, precisely. Deep culture is what happens under pressure. It's how conflict is actually handled. It's whether a teacher feels safe enough to tell their principal, hey, I'm struggling with this class.
It's about being seen versus being silenced.
And White has this brilliant binary for it. He says you can judge a culture by one thing. Do people show up or do they shut down?
Show up or shut down.
Mm-hmm.
That's a test you could apply to pretty much any relationship.
It really is. Can you bring your whole self to this place? Your mistakes, your questions, or do you have to put on armor every morning just to survive the day?
And he says this all comes down to leadership. Are you leading with fear or are you leading with consistency?
Consistency is the key word. Good culture isn't about everyone being happy all the time. That's impossible.
Life is hard. Work is hard.
Exactly. Good culture is about things being predictable. If I know how you're going to react to bad news, I feel safe. If I have to guess every morning whether you're going to be supportive or snap at me, my brain is in high alert mode constantly, and that's toxic.
Well, speaking of toxic, let's play doctor for a second. If culture is the immune system, how do we diagnose when it's sick? Might get some really specific red flags.
Yeah, and this is critical because toxicity can hide behind good test scores or a nice new building. So the first red flag he mentions is the most obvious one. Constant staff turnover.
He calls it people voting with their feet.
That's it. If you're hiring a whole new crop of teachers every single August, you don't have a recruitment problem. You have a retention problem. People don't leave jobs where they feel valued and safe.
They flee chaos.
They flee chaos and inconsistency. It's like a leaky bucket. Pouring more water in won't fix it.
Makes sense.
What else is on his list?
High discipline referrals. If the only tool you have is punishment, the culture is broken, and then there's zero trust from parents. But the one that I found really interesting was an environment where gossip is more prevalent than growth.
Oof, that hits hard. And that's not just schools, that's a lot of workplaces.
It is.
But why is gossip a red flag for culture specifically? I mean, people talk. They do. But in a system, gossip is a symptom of a blocked communication channel. If I can't talk to you about a problem, I'm going to talk about you to someone else.
Because you're afraid of the reaction.
Right. It means truth isn't welcome. So you get these little triangles of negativity instead of direct problem solving. It's a sign of low psychological safety.
That's a really good way to put it. It's a workaround for a broken system. Now, there's one leadership red flag he points out that I think we really need to linger on. He says, a culture is toxic when leaders hide when hard things happen.
The bunker mentality. Every organization faces a crisis, right? A budget cut, a scandal, a community tragedy.
It's inevitable.
So what does the leader do? Do they get out there, become visible in the hallways, or do they just lock themselves in their office and send out emails?
It sends a message of abandonment.
Completely.
Yeah.
It tells everyone you're on your own. And the second people feel that way, the community fractures, everyone starts just looking out for themselves.
There was an anecdote from the source material that it stopped me in my tracks. White was talking to a student, and the kid said something that was just heartbreaking.
I know exactly the one you mean. The student said, I get in less trouble if I just don't talk to teachers.
I get in less trouble if I just don't talk. Just think about that.
It's chilling because an outside observer might walk into that classroom and see 30 kids sitting in silence.
And they'd think, wow, what great classroom management. Look how compliant these kids are.
But it's not compliance, it's fear.
It's disengagement. It's survival.
That kid isn't learning history. They're learning how to become invisible to avoid a threat. And White says that statement is a mirror reflecting the culture. When connection breaks down, silence isn't peace. It's just a lack of safety.
And this leads us right into what I think is the most challenging part of his philosophy. This is the real deep dive part. Because normally, when a school is struggling, who gets the blame?
Oh, it's the kids. Always the kids. Or the parents. It's a bad batch of kids this year. These families don't care.
It's the easiest cop-out.
But White just shuts that down. He has this one line. Culture is adult work.
Culture is adult work.
It's a tough pill to swallow. He's saying you can't fix the culture by trying to fix the kids. You fix the culture by regulating the adults.
Okay, unpack the mechanics of that for me. Because if a kid is flipping a desk, that feels like a kid problem. How is that adult work?
I get that it feels that way. But White uses this phrase, we can't expect regulated students with dysregulated systems.
Dysregulated systems.
And think about it. A dysregulated system is one where the adults are stressed, inconsistent, reactive. If the teacher is yelling, if the principal is hiding, if the rules change from day to day, that's chaos.
And kids are mirrors.
They're perfect mirrors. Humans rely on co-regulation. A kid's nervous system literally looks to the adult's nervous system for cues on how to act. If the adult is calm and consistent, the kid has a path to calm down.
But if the adult is chaotic,
the kid will reflect that chaos right back. So, culture is adult work. Isn't about letting kids off the hook. It's about saying the adults set the emotional weather.
The adults create the climate, the kids just live in it.
Exactly. If there's a thunderstorm in the staff room every morning, you can't expect sunshine in the classroom. It shifts the burden from trying to control the child to learning to control yourself.
Which is so much harder.
Infinitely harder. It's much easier to write a detention slip than to ask yourself, how did my tone of voice just contribute to that situation escalating?
So this brings us to his central metaphor, which I think is just brilliant. Culture as the immune system.
It is the perfect analogy. I mean, think about a biological immune system. Its job isn't to stop you from ever encountering a germ.
Right, you're going to encounter germs. Problems are inevitable.
Exactly. In a school, the virus could be a fight. It could be a tragedy in the community. It could be an angry parent yelling in the office. Every single school faces these viruses. Yes. A school with a strong immune system, a strong culture, it takes the hit. People respond. They don't panic. There's relational trust. They know the leader has their back. They process the virus. They recover. And often, they actually grow stronger from it.
And a school with a weak immune system.
It's a total meltdown. A small incident becomes a massive drama. A parent complaint turns into a lawsuit. Everyone turns on each other because there's no trust. The system literally attacks itself.
I can hear someone listening and thinking, okay, but the schools that handle things well are the ones with money. Doesn't funding buy a better immune system?
That's the common assumption, but White pushes back on that hard. He says the difference isn't resources, it's relational safety. You can have a school with brand new MacBooks, but if the principal is invisible and the staff all hate each other, that school is immunocompromised.
And conversely, you can have a school with peeling paint and old textbooks.
But if the relationships are rock solid, they're bulletproof. Culture is the thing that decides between chaos and clarity when the pressure hits.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the illness. We know it's adult work. We know we need a strong immune system. Let's get tactical. How do you actually build this? It feels so overwhelming.
It does. It feels like moving a mountain. But the good news, according to White, is the solution isn't some grand gesture. You don't need a big, expensive retreat. The strategy is start small and stay consistent.
Start small. So where do you start? What's the blueprint?
He says culture is built in the in-between moments, in the margins. It's not the big assembly you hold once a month. It's what you do in the hallway on a random Tuesday morning.
Okay, so give me a specific tactic for those margins.
The biggest one, and it's so simple, is greetings. He puts a huge emphasis on greeting every student and every staff member by name.
It sounds almost too simple to work.
It does, but hearing your name spoken with respect is a fundamental safety signal to the human brain. It says, I see you, you exist, you're not just a number to me.
It's that idea of connection before content.
Exactly. You have to make the human connection before you can expect any academic output. Another example he gives is for staff meetings.
Staff meetings. The bane of everyone's existence.
Right. Usually it's just, okay, here's the agenda, let's go. White says, start every meeting with the personal check-in. How are you? What was a win this week?
I can see busy leaders skipping that, saying they don't have time.
And that's a huge strategic mistake, because by skipping it, you signal that productivity matters more than the person. But if you take those 5 minutes to connect, people are more engaged, and you actually get through the agenda faster.
He also mentions aligning discipline with stated values.
This is huge for consistency. If your school motto is, we care, but your discipline policy is just rigid, zero-tolerance punishment, the kids see that hypocrisy instantly.
And then you've lost all influence.
All of it. You have to train staff on people, not just on policy. We train teachers on new software, but do we train them on how to de-escalate a situation, on how to regulate their own breathing when a kid is screaming at them?
That's the adult work in practice.
That's building the immune system.
There was one specific rule he mentioned that I thought was so actionable, the 3-to-1 rule.
This is a gold nugget. You can use this anywhere. The rule is simple. For every one correction you give someone, you need to have offered 3 authentic affirmations.
3 positives for every 1 negative. Is that just about being nice?
No, it's brain science. It's about the negativity bias. Our brains are like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. Criticism just sticks more.
So you need that volume of positivity just to break even emotionally.
You do. If you've built up that relational bank account, then when you do have to give a correction, the person trusts you. They know you value them, so the feedback feels safe, like you're trying to help.
It feels like guidance instead of an attack.
Exactly. But if the only time you ever talk to me is to tell me I did something wrong, my walls go up, I immediately get defensive, I stop listening.
So practical. And again, it costs $0.
$0. Just intention. Just catching people doing things right.
Okay, so let's zoom out as we wrap this up. We've gone from culture as Spirit Week to culture as this deep, invisible curriculum.
The immune system that protects the whole community.
And the vaccine, so to speak, is consistent, regulated adult behavior.
That's a great summary. It's creating a regulated system where everyone feels safe enough to learn and grow.
Wired had a closing thought that I really loved. He said, culture doesn't need perfection. It needs presence.
And that's the key. If you're a leader, take the pressure off. You're going to mess up. You'll have bad days. A strong culture isn't one where no one makes a mistake.
It's one where you can repair the mistake.
Exactly. It's about having the humility to own it, to show up, be present, and say, I messed up, I'm sorry, here's how we move forward. Curriculum in action.
Start where you are. Just start with the next interaction in the hallway.
That's it. Let every action echo the culture you want.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over today. We talked about that student who learned it was safer to be silent. We talked about how silence can be a symptom of a sick immune system. So if culture is what happens when no one is speaking, what is your environment saying right now in the silence?
That is the question.
Is it a peaceful silence? The silence of people feeling safe and focused?
Well,
Or is it the silence of people holding their breath, just waiting for a next bad thing to happen? Listen to the silence tomorrow where you work. It might tell you everything you need to know.
absolutely.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. If you want more from Clarence C. White, and trust me, we have only scratched the surface, you should definitely check out his book, From Risk to Resilience, or find that full conversation with CC.
Highly recommended. It's a real blueprint for doing this work.
Thanks for learning with us today.